the family are brave knights left behind. Not the noble lords and ladies and retainers of Don Quixote de la Mancha, but the simple womenfolk of a country squire named Alonso Quijana. Imagine their shock as the news of the squire's madness reaches them. To his niece, Antonia, who is worried about its effects on her forthcoming marriage, yes? To his housekeeper of many years, who is worried about even darker matters. To the local padre, who has known Alonso his entire life, yes, you. And shortly there will appear on the scene a man whose philosophy, I think, will appeal enormously to you. Alonso's niece and his housekeeper hurry to the neighborhood church. May we have a church, please? Yes? Anguished by this terrible situation, and not unaware of what the neighbors might be thinking, they seek help and advice from the local padre. The padre. Now, despite the news that the squire's madness may bring down upon her house, you may be sure she is only thinking of him.
what a comfort to be sure that their motives are so pure as they go thinking and worrying about you.
Now there appears on the scene a man of breeding, intelligence, logic. He is Antonia's fiancé, Dr. Samson Carrasco, Bachelor of Science, graduate of the University of Salamanca. A man who carries his own self-importance as though afraid of breaking it.
Antonia, I'd like to say something.
I'd forgotten how family quarrels have a way of getting out of hand. So, with so much at stake in the game, let us rearrange the pieces. The queen. Cunning. The castle. Formidable. The bishop. Charmingly diagonal. And now, the problem of the night.
Sanson!
Have you heard?
On my way here, I was informed by at least 10 people. My dear, your uncle is the laughingstock of the entire neighborhood. Padre, what do you know of this?
Only that the good Signor Quijana has been carried away by his imagination.
Signor Quijana has lost his mind and is suffering from delusions.
Is there a difference?
Exactitude of meaning. I beg to remind you, Padre, I am a doctor.
Please don't argue. We must do something about him.
I'm a little more concerned about us.
What do you mean, us?
Our marriage, my dear. There is a certain embarrassment at having a madman in the family. In the eyes of others, it would seem that I do not relish claiming a lunatic as uncle.
The innocent must pay for the sins of the guilty.
Guilty of what? A gentle delusion.
How do you know it is gentle? By this time, who knows what violence he has committed? He was armed.
With sword and lance. Sanson, I had hoped so much for us. Well, for you, really. Everything was to be for you. My uncle's house, his lands.
True, Doctor. In time, they would all be yours. After all, if one is to serve science, one must have the means.
Are you priest or pawnbroker?
What I meant was, consider the challenge.
Challenge?
Think what cleverness it would take to wean him from madness, to turn him from his course, and persuade him to return home.
That is a challenge.
Impossible.
He can't have gotten far.
No more than a day's journey.
Get ready, Padre. We shall go after him. But as we go, there is one thing that I want the world to know.
I feel with pain that once again we now will hear that very often heard refrain.
I'm only thinking of him. I'm only thinking of him. Whatever I may do or say, I'm only thinking of him. In my body, it's well known.